Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, nahmaduhu, nasta'inuhu, nastaghfiruhu, wa nu'minu bihi wa natawakkalu alayhi, wa na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina wa sayyati a'malina. Man yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu, wa man yudlil fala hadiya lahu, wa nashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa nashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidun Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidun Majid. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Mawlana Muhammadin wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad wa barik wa sallam wa salli alayhi. Amma ba'd. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. We'll continue our tafsir al-Quran for Surah Al-Anfal, and we'll be doing, inshallah, ayahs 15 to 18. We have learned a lot of lessons from the beginning of this surah, and we are talking about the Battle of Badr. That was the first battle the Muslims ever fought. They were not allowed to fight before this. In Mecca, they lived a very harsh, very hard life. At the risk of their lives, never touched anyone. Never, they were not allowed to even take revenge or fight back at any cost. Give the message, do the dawah work, and forget about what happens to you. But now, Muslims move to Medina as a community. They want to establish a community, then city, then a country, then international message to international law. In this situation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now promulgates His divine message, how to take care of yourself, how to defend yourself, because now people will come and try to annihilate you because they don't want my message to be given to all people. It's time that you stand up. And therefore, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes certain rules and regulations for the war. And these are the laws of our Lord. We have gone through those. Last time we said, there are 9 points that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says you will not do. There are do's and don'ts. And one of the message that was given to us is, which we should all remember even today, Rasulullah was told, when you lead the army, you will not kill anyone who is innocent, no civilian. You will not fight anyone who does not come to fight you. You will not kill children, old people, humble people. You will not fight those who are not fighting you. And at the same time, you will not destroy their property. You will not destroy any synagogue, temple, masjid, or any other religious. You will not destroy crops. You will not destroy public spaces. And you will not go into destruction beyond your limit. You will not go beyond your limit. So what a simple question. Isn't that the beauty of our religion, that we protect and defend our life and still take a risk from our enemies not to fight them back for destruction? We will defend and not go beyond that. But at the same time, no one should have any doubt that the Muslims will fight to the end. And the message today says Muslims will not show their back to the enemy. Never walk away from the battlefield. And that is, if someone is coward, is running away from the battlefield, you shoot him. Because he's a dangerous person who is running away from the battle. So in this situation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is expounding more laws that are with you if you follow these divine laws, my laws, are beautiful. Just to go over some of the summary of the points of the summary of the last khutbah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I'm with you only if you are with me. Number one. If you fight for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, try to defend yourself for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my plan will work for you. And you cannot go against me during the war or peace, and therefore you defend yourself according to my laws. At the same time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did mention to us many laws that He has promulgated for us, and therefore today we will just go over more that He has asked Muslims to follow. Number 15. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا لقيتم الذين كفروا زحفا فلا تولوهم أدبار. Beautiful message. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala starts out an ayah with Ya ayyuhallazina amanu, that means those who believed, who have already become Muslims, who have faith now, faith of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in their heart. You have already believed. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not talking to any other one, but the people who are His faith. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu. And whenever there is addressing the moment, He's not addressing it for any other reasons but give you a divine law. Do and don't. Because now you have believed it. My law tells you to do this or don't do this. My law is to follow these instructions in the future. It's a solid message. Here in this ayah, it says, يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا لقيتم الذين كفروا زحفا. إذا لقيتم الذين. Now we are talking about Battle of Badr again. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did a lot of favors to the Muslim because this was the first battle. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, I brought you from your homes without telling you that you're going to war. I'll take you back safe. So you don't have to worry about it. I'm telling you this is the first time to just get the taste of the war. Because you're going to protect it in the future, you will have so many. And that's why there were 20, how many battles were they fought? How many they fought in 23 years? I mean, in those 10 years, 22 wars. Look at that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knew what is going to happen to these people. He prepared them for that purpose. And the first war, He said, I will teach you how to protect yourself. So how many people were there on Muslim side and how many on the other side? 313 versus about 1,000. Now difference is, how much you see the 3 times more than the other. And no equipment, no arms, ammunition. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling them, no, you go and face these people. But before they went, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prepared. I'm telling you what to do before you go. What did they do? Don't do anything. Just go put your head down before me. Pray to me that you are going for a war, that I protect you. And I will do it for you. Simple as that. No arms, ammunition. Just little, the little things that they normally people used to go with the stake, with the hammer, with something, axe or something, with a sword or something, they would go. So in this situation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you, I'm with you. Because you have believed in me, you have come for a very good reason as a Muslim, because you trust me. And I brought you here, I'm going to take you, I'll take you safe. Now how do you do it? Here it says, when you meet the opponent, Laqitum means meeting. When you meet, that means you face. Lazina kafaru, the opposition, the enemy. Za'fan. Za'fan is a word, beautiful word. That means crawling. Crawling. Like a baby, when he's not able to walk, he crawls on the space and he goes on this. And when the big army is walking, how do they go? Very slow. In those days, there was no arms, ammunition, planes, or nothing, but they are walking. And they used to walk 30 miles, 40 miles a day to get to the battlefield. And here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, when you meet the 1,000 people versus 300, they are big army in front of you. And when they are coming into you, they are crawling, they are going slow. When you see the movie, you see, the soldiers go on their elbows, they walk so that the soldier would not see. They crawl. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told them that time, 1400 years ago, people will be crawling to meet you, to kill you, to destroy you. So how would you do it? See it. They are coming to you, crawling slowly, hiding. وَلَا تَوَلُّهُمْ أَدْبَارٍ. Here is a strong don't, do's and don'ts. But what that says, فَلَا تَوَلُّ. Do not return. If you have seen the enemy is coming to you, kill you, fight you. Now, tawallu means to return. Hum al-adbar. Do not show your back to the enemy. Now you have to face it. Go straight. Adbar is the lower portion of the body, of the back. That means you humiliate yourself when you show your back. Don't humiliate yourself. This is my law to you. My people will not show their back to the enemy, not get away. You stand firm, committed, and that's why Muslims, even today, never leave the battle. Never leave the battle. Die right there. You remember the fight between Iran and Iraq, 10 years. Millions of people died. But both are fighting for the same cause. Why are you doing it? Both are saying the other one is my opponent, is a kafir. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not with either side of the party. So they fought and killed, and still no results. At the end, they got tired and they said, let's forget about it. Walk away. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, when you have met the enemy, you have seen crawling to you, big army, because how the big army comes, they won't, fly and just land in front of you. They will be walking 30, 40 miles. Makkah, from Makkah to Medina is about 300 miles. How much time they took to come there? Maybe 2-3 days walking on their horses, on their camels, on their everything. So they are crawling now. Very slowly they got to your point. And they are tired. But still, they says, they are somewhere relaxing. You don't see them, but I see them. I know who they are. They are going to crawl on you now. So prepare yourself, but don't ever don't return. Don't show your back. That's a humiliation. You are humiliating. If any one of you will return back, then you are doing the humiliation to your own people. Number 16. وَمَنْ يُوَلِّهِمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ دُبُرَهُ إِلَى مُتَحَرِّكًا لِقِتَالٍ أَوْ مُتَحَيِّزًا إِلَى فِئَةٍ فَقَدْ بَاءَ بِغَضَبٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَمَأْوَاهُمْ جَهَنَّمُ وَبِئْسَ الْمَصِيرُ. It starts with وَمَنْ يُوَلِّهِمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ دُبُرَهُ. On that day, يُوَلِّهِمْ, you will not show your back to your enemy. يَوْمَئِذٍ دُبُرَهُ إِلَّا مُتَحَرِّفًا لِلْقِتَالِ إِلَّا مُتَحَرِّفًا. Beautiful message. You will not show your back to your enemy. Doboro, again back. You only is return. You will not return. You will not fall back. You will not walk away. You will not show your back and show your back, the lower back of your body to the enemy. إلا متحركا للقتال. إلا متحركا. Who is متحركا? متحركا للقتال is a soldier. متحرك means a professional, any professional. And then Kitan, a soldier, professional soldier. Except when you have a leader who is a professional. He is a soldier, professional soldier, and he asks you to return with a strategy. You don't walk away yourself, but you have given the order by strategy to retreat for certain reason. Because he's a professional, he's not asking you to run away from to your own, but you stand there and listen to the leader, what he wants you to return, and then make a new strategy to come back to the battlefield. You know, there are so many lessons that we learn. Like this. There was a beautiful lesson from one of our leader of the armed forces, Khalid bin Walid. You have heard the name, a great warrior, great names. He was called the soldier of Allah. He never got defeated, never. Rasulullah ordered him to take his forces to Persia, Iran. Today is called Iran. Take your forces and, take over the country, because of the they were already coming to battle the Muslims, because now all other forces have been defeated, and this big power in that region, Persia, they were trying to go to Medina to get rid of these people. He said, before they come, let's go face them now. So he takes 30,000 people. Khalid bin Walid takes 30,000 people to the army to Persia. And very light, casual, dressed up, casual, armors with them. And they knew that those people, the Persian army knew that they are coming to fight us. So as they reached there, they saw 200,000 people. 200,000 people facing them. But Khalid bin Walid, a very smart guy, he found that that army was really equipped. Big cloak, armory, the armor dresses, heavy dresses, and heavy equipment, the big things and big and on the backside, so the people could hardly walk. So he realized the people are sitting up there, they are heavily dressed up. Big, and our people are normal dressed up and with the small swords and small something like this. What should we do? He found out this is the time to retreat, because they are too big. And these people cannot walk, cannot follow us. So he asked his people to retreat 1 mile, 2 miles, as if you are running away. So those people will run after you to get rid of, to fight you. So he did the same thing. He said, retreat. 30,000 people are running away from the battlefield. And the army, or the other army, jumps on them, go catch them and get rid of them. They should, because they were very light, Muslims were very light, and the other people were very heavy. They could not run after a mile. They are exhausted. And they start going back. We cannot catch them. So again, Khalid bin Walid ordered his forces to come again to the front, to the battlefield. And he goes back again. He did 2-3 times to them, as if we are coming to fight. And then they start running back, and the people fight, and they got exhausted. They got exhausted after 2-3 times coming back and forth, running 5-6 miles with a heavy cloak and heavy armors. They could not do it. So now when Khalid bin Walid found that they are now exhausted, they cannot move. So where they do go? He says, now stand firm, follow them up. There was a river beside, most of the people jumped into the river because they couldn't do anything. They could not save themselves. They got rid of them, 200,000 people versus 30,000 people, ran over them like a ransack. Just got rid of them because they were all tired. And here, the night when you are ordinary dress, ordinary sword, ordinary everything, and you are very casual, and you are ready to fight for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not for victory, not for money, not for anything. So here he comes back. Now, one day army, now he wants to come back. Well, they are coming back victorious. The army is jubilous. They want to go back. We have won the war. We haven't lost. Not much, very little. We are the winners. And he started walking back, found that there were churches in the way. No, they cannot get. So with that big army, they cannot, cross because the streets are small. They have horses. They have big, things. So it's very hard to cross that area. He realized that if we cross this, if we break down the church, there was the church and there was synagogue and other places in the same area. He says, no, that we are not allowed to do that. We cannot break down and we cannot break their yards and destroy any part of their land or their yards. So we have to go and change our route. So he changed his route, went across the city, went around the city, and took him many days just to save those temples and churches and other places which were existing in that city. So in other words, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought the releases. When you were there, I brought you and gave you the idea to fight your war. Because Khalid bin Walid is my soldier. And his strategy would work 100% when he makes a final decision. And that's here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, when your soldier leader makes a decision to withdraw, you have no choice but withdraw. Another, not withdraw, but retreat. أو متحيزا إلى فئة. متحيزا. Here is a beautiful word also. متحيزا إلى فئة. متحيزا means here's another way. You can retreat for the second reason, and that is for regrouping. If you think you are losing a battle, or the army is too big in front of you, you cannot face them, withdraw, retreat, and then follow a new plan by the order of your leader. And this thing happened in Battle of Uhud. Battle of Uhud. Battle of Uhud was almost won by the Muslims, and the rumor was spread that Rasulullah has been killed. And people started leaving the battlefield because now we have no leader, so no use. So one of the latecomers of the war who was left behind, and he started running towards the battle. And he saw people coming from the opposite direction. What happened to you people? Why are you running away from, this is illegal. I mean, to leave the battlefield is a crime. You cannot leave. You cannot show your back. You're showing your back, you're running away. He says, no. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, when you have no leader and you have almost going to lose your battle, you withdraw to regroup yourself. We are going back to regroup ourselves. The man said, no. You don't regroup in the city. You are running back to your home. This is not the way to regroup. Regroup means you come back to a safe place, put your armed forces back to normal position, and regroup your strategy wherever you want to put them, and then fight. But you cannot walk away. Well, since there is no order, no law, most of the people went back. But that guy said, if he died, if Rasulullah died, it's a sunnah to die. I cannot go back. I cannot show my back. I have started going forward. I'll continue to go forward. And he went. Of course, one person against 500 people, they will not survive. He died. But that showed the Rasulullah made a big example for him. This is the soldier that lives with my sunnah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with us. So that shows we are going to win the war. He got up, put on his cloak again, put his, he sat on his, he rode his horse and said, now we are ready to go back again because we have regrouped ourselves. Although he had only 70 people, a lot of people had gone. And now few people left and they realized that we are a small group, but we will still follow them. When the message went to the enemies, the other side, they realized there's too big army coming now to fight us. They ran away. So this is called Allah Ta'ala's help is there. When you are fighting for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make his plans to make you win that war. And that's what the battle of Uhud. فَقَدْ بَاءُوا بِغَضَبٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ. In other words, فَقَدْ بَاءُوا بِغَضَبٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ. And here is anyone who disobeys his commander and disobeys Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah and his prophet. بِغَضَبٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ. He receives the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He receives the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In other words, anyone who runs away from the battlefield, that's the law of the land. Anyone who disobeys his prophet or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's law. So he receives the anger of subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what does that do to him? وَمَأْوَاهُمْ جَهَنَّمُ. Although he receives Jahannam. Allahu Akbar. If you disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and then you run away by disobeying him, run away from the battlefield, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, he receives my anger. But what does he do to this person? He says, Mahwa wa mahwahum Jahannam. Mahwa means a camp. In other words, in a war, whenever there is, the prisoners or the other people are taken, and they are taken into a place where the protection is given to them. And that protection means it's a home for them, and they are protected, both sides. So you take a shelter, in other words, a shelter home. So those, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, they will have a shelter in Jahannam. Why? Jahannam is not a shelter. You don't go home in a shelter. Jahannam is a fire, fierce fire burning, and you will burn there forever and ever. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, because they have earned my anger by fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they find the hellfire better than the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they will find shelter in the hellfire. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Astaghfirullah. God save us from the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If a person would like to go to the hellfire just because he cannot stand the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is fierce, too intense. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, his place is Jahannam, the fire of Jahannam. And that is his shelter, and he will stay there forever. But this al-Masir, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, this is the worst place that he wants to be in. That means his home is there forever and ever there in Jannah, a Bayt al-Masih. And that's a terrible place, terrible shelter for it. The next one. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. فَلَمْ تَقْتُلُوهُمْ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ قَتَلَهُمْ وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّ اللَّهَ شَدِيدُ I'm sorry. It's not the word. وَمَا رَمَيْتَ إِلَّا رَمَيْتَ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ رَمَى وَلِيُبْلِيَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ مِنْهُمْ بَلَاءً حَسَنًا إِنَّ اللَّهَ سَمِيعٌ عَلِيمٌ. فَلَمْ تَقْتُلُوهُمْ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ قَتَلَهُمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you tell me, how did you get that victory? Again, he's back to Battle of Badr. How did you get that victory? You were not prepared. You didn't do anything. And my laws are coming to you to fight the war now, not before. How did you get that victory? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, beautiful words here. فَلَمْ تَقْتُلُوهُمْ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ قَتَلَهُمْ. You did not kill them. You did not. You did not fight. I fought them. I killed them on your behalf. Allahu Akbar. Look at that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I sent you the angels, 1,000 angels there to protect you. And how I put the fear in their heart that they saw you 3 times more, just the other side and the other opposite of what actuality was. You are the 300 and they were 1,000. They saw you as 1,000 and you saw them as 300. So in other words, this illusion is my way of defeating them, putting the fear in their heart. And that's how I killed them. And there were 13 casualties in the Muslim, in the quarters, and maybe 70 or 80 in the other quarter. So in other words, high casualties on the other side. But who did that? And who made the fear in their heart and they ran away? I says, me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَلَمْ تَقْتُلُوهُمْ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ قَتَلَهُمْ. It's not you that killed them, but I did. I'm the one who did it. You know, most of the things happen in our life. We don't know how did it happen? How did it happen? I even didn't do it. I even think of doing it. So how did it happen? It comes to you automatically. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I have my plans for you. I look after you. I have surrounded you with the angels. If you are with me, my plans are working for you. You achieve the goal that you want. You do a little and I do the rest. You do your part, little action, and I'll do my part, big action. You know, reminds me of the story of Mary, after Jesus was born. I shouldn't be calling Jesus Isa al-Islam, with more respect. But people say Jesus. So when he was born, she was very weak. She was very weak in that room, and no food left, nothing. And she's asking, oh my Lord, you have put me in the room, I have no food, I'm very hungry. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, go out and shake the tree, the palm tree. And, you know, the dates will fall down. How can she do it? How can she get up? She just walk. She's very weak. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you have to do your part. Something you have to do. She gets up, shakes the tree, big tree. Who can shake a tree, a palm tree? But you have to do your part. And she got up, shook the tree, and the hairs fell down on her, in her lap. And that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you do your job. I will not give you free. You open your mouth and everything comes to your mouth. But do your part. The lesson is, first of all, put your head down, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I have a problem. Oh my Lord, I'm asking you to help me. Tell me what I should do to get this to. He will tell you exactly what to do, and you do your part, and he will do his part. Second story reminds me of Yaqub alayhi salam. Yaqub was sick. He had a terrible disease that he was dying of, skin disease. He was dying. And he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, oh, I'm your prophet, oh Lord. Give me a time. Give me a respite. I want to do my job. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't say, okay, you get up and start your job. He said, no. He said, go out of your room, put your foot down, dig a part of the ground, the spring will come up. Take shower with that spring, you'll be cured. You'll become normal. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't tell him, you sit there and I'm sending you the showers. You first go out, dig a hole, and the shower and the spring will come and you take a shower, and that's what happened. So he did a little part, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did a big part. Musa alayhi salam, you remember when he went to Syria, 12 tribes. They're asking, we are hungry, we are thirsty, we don't have water. He says, oh my Lord, I have so many people with me. They have no water. What should I do? Help me, please. Oh Lord, my Lord, you are the one, you can do it. You have all the charisma, I don't. You have the miracles, I don't. Tell me what I should do. He said, go, hit that rock. 12 springs will burst out of that rock, right? And this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could have done it without doing any action. In other words, when you do a little action, the results could be big. When he put us, struck the rock, 12 springs sprang up. Same time, beautiful things happen which we don't realize it's such a big thing. It's a little thing. Musa alayhi salam goes to the sea. There's a big sea and the enemy is coming behind on chariots and a big army to kill them. Or he says, oh my Lord, I have no place to go. I have to cross the sea. There is no place to go. We are all dead. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him, put your staff in. Strike your staff. And he put this, when he struck the sea with the staff, split 2 mountains of water on both sides of the highway. And his forces passed through. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could have done, without striking, the staff. No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you do your part, I'll do my part. I will give you free. Don't open your mouth and expect, the beautiful juice running into your mouth. It won't happen. You do your part, right? And he struck with the strike. But if I do it, the maximum I can get is small splash with the water. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I'm ordering you to do this, you can expect a high and a big miracles. And that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us. And big lessons. Big lessons for the Muslims. Don't sit and wait that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because we are Muslim, we are with him, we say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, everything is achieved. That won't happen. He said, you do your job, I'll do my part. And those will be miracles which this world has never seen. Musa alayhi salam just did it like this. The sea split and made a highway for the army to pass through. And at the same time, when crown came for them, the sea came together and drowned him. And his body is still there in that museum, which I saw myself. Horrible body lying there. And it will stay there until the end of the world. He says, I'll make you the best example of Firawniyat. Do you understand? Firawniyat means your hypocrisy and your greatness and majesty. I'll show them who you are. And this is an example for us. So let's do Number one, whenever we have a problem, we take, first of all, we clean ourselves. That's number one. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you clean yourself. Take a big shower, clean your clothes, clean your heart, clean your mind, be ready for it. Then prostrate in front of me. Make a dua. Then prepare for what you have to do. If you're going for a walk, prepare yourself. Make a plan, make a strategy, make your forces ready. Then you are going with me. I'm with you. You will fight and you will win. And then it says, then it's not your war, it's my war. You did the little part of, what is your minimal capacity to do. And I have my capacity. I will do according to my capacity. That means the big miracles will happen. So this is the lesson I should never forget. Never. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make miracles for me. And believe me, I believe in that. It happened to me many times. I asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He did it. When I put my soul and heart into what I want to achieve or what I want to get, I have a problem. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you did your job, I do my part. Do it. And this is your moment to also. You want to go home? I'm your humble servant. Ask me, I do my part. You do your part, my Lord. My part is this much, my capacity. You do it according to your capacity. I don't know. And that's why, the Ummah is suffering just because we have lost the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are not practicing it. And most of the people, if you go in the East, because I'm a Muslim, because I say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, my Lord will do everything for me. I don't have to do anything. So they are sitting, sleeping, as if no life in them. Oh, if you're not doing it, why would Allah do it for you? If you don't go to work, don't achieve, don't do anything, why any results will come to you? No, my Lord will give me everything. This is the concept we have. This is those people. When I'm talking about those people now. Why I'm telling you? Please, our new generation should not be of this concept. We shouldn't think about that. We do our part. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says there are two reasons to show your back. Number one, for the strategy of by the leader, you retreat, but not run away. And second, to regroup by, putting your community together. I think there is one story I read it for this regrouping. In Battle of Hunain, again, Khalid bin Walid was the commander of that army, and he took 3,000 people. 3,000 people on his way. Whenever Khalid bin Walid is passing through the country, just his name is enough, everybody wants to join him. By the time he reached Hunain, there were 10,000 people. 10,000 people what? If you are not qualified to become a soldier, if you haven't learned any technique or any, it's difficult to go and fight a war. Even if you are big number, that doesn't bring victory to you. You have to have some training, some learning, something. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving you a message how to do it. But if you haven't learned it, you haven't gained anything, or you cannot be successful in the battle. So by the time he reaches there and the battle starts, Khalid bin Walid saw these people, they haphazardly just running around and fighting for no reason. Like this, we cannot win a war. You cannot win a war, if you individually, if everybody is running around and fighting. That's not the way. Why? Because he realized that these are the people who have joined him and they are not trained. So my orders are not working. So he says, retreat. Retreat. So everybody goes back a few miles or whatever, and they establish a new strategy. He says, every community that has come together as a new, they will make our own group of your own. Your group. In other words, if somebody has joined me, let's say from the southeast, and some from the southwest, and some from the northwest, the east, west, or wherever. No, you make your own groups together. Each will have a separate groups. And then I will tell how many groups should go first and how many groups should go second. In this case, he said, people will be following each other, fighting with each other as a group, as a people they know, their families. If our four brothers are fighting, we stand together because we'll have a community that we work for, and we will be supporting each other. So that means there will be a unity of action to face the difficulty. And that's what exactly happened. Now, the communities, 500, 300, 1,000, two people joining together to go reach. And then communities going and then all joining together and brought a big victory for Hunayn, Battle of Hunayn. First they were losing, first time they lost it, they retreated, and then they won the war. And that's how you call it when you are following the orders of commander to retreat, to show your back, for regrouping, you win the war. The time is up. What can I say? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَمَا رَمَيْتَ إِذَا رَمَيْتَ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهُ رَمَى. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Rasulullah when Battle of Badr started, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told his beloved prophet, take a handful of dirt and throw it towards the enemy. When he threw it, most of the people became blind. Blind means their eyes were stuck with dust. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving the message here. You did not throw the dust or the handful of dust or the sand. I did. And the word is, وَمَا رَمَيْتَ. You did not do it. You did not throw the handful of dust. إِذَا رَمَيْتَ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ. It was your Allah who did the job. You did your job. Take a dust and throw it to the people. The remaining was my part. I put that dust in everybody's eyes. What a beautiful message. But the first part is, even the prophet would not succeed unless Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he listens to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's message and he would do it. His part is a small one, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with his mercy, plays a bigger part, biggest part. وَلِيُبْلِيَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ مِنْهُمْ بَلَاءً حَسَنًا. Here's another beautiful verse here. وَلِيُبْلِيَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ مِنْهُمْ بَلَاءً حَسَنًا. Bala, hard, tough. Hasana, good. Now, Allah say, I'm putting you to the test, hard and beautiful. How can those two things be together? Some of the things that you cannot do, but yet I ask you to do, and you are successful because they are gracious test for you. I put you to different tests, and here is a test for you which you will win because I test you. If somebody gets sick, does that mean, you sleep and say, I'm dead, I'm gone? He says, no, fight for it. Go get the medicine, get the results, get therapy, get this, get that. You'll come back. But if you want to die yourself, go kill yourself. That's the terrible thing you will do. So this is a good that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us. Any test that comes to you is good for you. Any test that will come is good for you. It's a gracious test. Go through this. My brother, when he has no leg, it's a gracious test. Gracious test. Does that mean you give up your life? It's a test. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I send you this test for some reason. To remember me, to act on my advice, on my principles, and be my humble servant. I will make your one leg work better than two. You work, I will make it work for you. But you take it a test. My Lord has shown me a right path to reach some goal. with difficulty, I should follow that difficult path. Because when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, when you go into war, it's not easy thing that you are going to achieve. Difficulties will come. People will die, get hurt, problems will come. But it's a gracious test. And this gracious test was the first test for the Muslims to go to a battle of Badr. Why the first one? If they were defeated, it's over. There were no more, after 1400 years, say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. This book, in the same Battle of Hunain, the first time when they got defeated, they started losing their people because haphazardly. And Khalid bin Walid said, make your own group to fight. Don't fight individually. Don't haphazardly play your part. So there were some Hafiz of Quran. They said, we will make our own group. These people cannot fight. We will fight for you. So they came back to regroup it. They got, declared that those who are Hafiz al Quran, please come together and we will lead this fight. So 500 people came together on that day. 500 people out of those people. It's a big number. But there were only few. These are all there because Hafiz al Quran is the highest level of achievement even today. And those days, special. So when they went there, they were not fighters. They went to lead. They were leading the army. They are not fighters. They could not exist. They all died. 500 of them Muslims. Hafiz al-Quran died on that day. The news reached Hazrat Umar, the Khalifa of the time. Our Hafiz al-Quran are dead. He said, how many people? We don't have left any Hafiz al-Quran. If all our Hafiz al-Quran today die, that means we will have nothing information left about Quran with us. Rasulullah Sallam is there, but yet nothing. Again, it's very difficult to prepare a Hafiz al-Quran. It takes about 3 years to memorize it, maybe 2 years. In those days, maybe less than that, but it's difficult. So he said, Rasulullah Sallam, I will make a Quran, I will write my Quran with my own hand. You will certify it, and that would become the final. And since then, he wrote a book, he wrote a Quran. There's a copy, the same original is in the museum at Turkey in Istanbul. I saw that myself. I went to see that. I did that 8-9 years ago, and then I went last year. I did see that again. And in this book, the original book, written with hand, Quran written, exact word by word, the same. Today, if you have to certify the Quran, that is the copy there. It was with in the museum in London, but then was taken by Turkish government back to Turkey. It's there now. So this is being preserved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself. The Quran was written by Hazrat Umar Farooq Razi Allah ta'ala personally, certified by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and now it's in existence forever. Again, Inna Allah Samiyun Alim. Inna Allah Samiyun Alim. Allah knows, He hears everything. He's Alim, He's Alam. What does that mean? Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, He's Samiyun Alim, He knows everything, He listens everything. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, if you change your mind, if you receive the victory, and you become arrogant, and think that you have achieved victory without me, then I can change my mind and I'll bring you back to the same position. I can bring victory into defeat. I can change victory into defeat. And that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala means here when He says, Samiyun Alim, because I know your knowledge, I know your heart, what you want to do it, so I'll bring you back to defeat. Zalikum, oh my God, time is up. Zalikum annallahu muhinnun kaidan kafirin, the final word. I mean, this is the bottom line of this. After Allah saying everything, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, Zalikum, this is your Lord. Zalikum wa annallaha, this is your Lord. Muhinun kaida, muhinun, to make it weaks, humble, weak. Kaidil kafirin, kaid means plan. This is your Lord who makes the plan of the kafirin weak, so that they never win from you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows whom He wants to give a victory, and if He wants to, He makes sure their plan weak and gives you the victory. But it does not mean that you will get a victory forever. If you don't have a plan, you are Muslim, you don't have a plan, you are not ready for it, don't expect anything from me. You are nothing there. But if you have a plan, you have to have a small plan, weak plan, but you have to have a plan. You have to prepare yourself. When you say plan, prepare yourself, get ready, take your time, have victory, then prepare wudu and prepare yourself, do everything that you have to do. Then you come to me, for sure you are victorious. But if you don't, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, don't expect anything from me. I will not make any plan, weak plans for non-Muslims. So this message is great, tremendous message. If we really think of it, every word of it, every single plan in our life can make us successful or defeatist. We can achieve the goal of our life if we really take the final words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our heart, put out in our heart. Success will come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not from us. And that's the bottom line. That success comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not from yourself. Even if you are the best writer, best thinker, best philosopher, best fighter, whatever you are, you will not achieve it yourself, but achievement will come to you through your Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when He gives it to kafir, he has worked for it. When we achieve anything in our life, when we achieve anything, we say, oh, great thing. I'm a big man. I'm strong. I'm this. I'm mentally, I'm a PhD. I'm so and so great. I can do everything. You lost everything. Then you are nothing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can put you back to the ashes again. And I give the victory to those who work hard, who prosper, even if they are not on my plan, because they have the plan, they work for it. That's His creation. But those who do it for Him in accordance with the Quran and Sunnah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the victory is guaranteed. You do a small part, I do a big part. What else can you do it? That's why that nation of 10 years ruled the world for 1,000 years. Let me, probably you never read it anywhere, did you? The Muslim ruled the world for 1,000 years? Did you? No. It's never written. From 630 to 1630, until the revolution, the Renaissance and other things came and they destroyed Muslim, because they had lost, by that time, they had lost the morals of Islam. And that's how we are suffering today. And this is the bottom. It's the bottom of Islam. Because nobody knows. They're sitting up there. You go with those people. I can't even imagine how low could those be. Open their mouth and sitting there as if God will send them in their throat, everything. That will not happen. They don't realize that, because they are still thinking Quran is telling us we are Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. That doesn't work. No. Ashhadu an Allah means character. Ashhadu an Allah means belief. Ashhadu an Allah means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in your heart. Ashhadu an Allah means achievement, even if it's a defeat. You don't lose. You don't run away. You don't walk away. You don't stand firm, committed, and achieve what you have to achieve. Even if you are lost, do it again. Do it again until you achieve. right? The worldly things are different. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has achievement of our spiritual powers that we have. If you don't have it, we are wasting our time, right?